Hello everybody. I would like to say welcome to all of you to the next webinar organized by the projects 3Co and BioReCer with the title Digital Tools for a Bio-Based Future, Empowering Industry and Consumers. So Dušica and myself are the hosts of the meeting today. We are both part of the nova-Institut, which is a science-based consultancy on renewable carbon for chemicals and materials. Our institute has 4 different departments, which are the technology and markets, sustainability and economy and policy departments, as well as the communications department, which Dušica and me are part of. And we both are the communication managers of the organizing projects BioReCer and 3Co. And I would like to introduce the projects shortly. So BioReCer has the goal to assess and complement current certification schemes for biological waste and residue feedstocks. And within this project, an ICT tool is developed to enhance tracking and traceability of this feedstock through value chains. And we will hear more about this in the first talk of today. You can also be part of the project by entering the BioReCer stakeholder platform. Just visit this subpage of our website by scanning the QR code on the right-hand side. And I will give you 3 more seconds to do so before I start presenting the 3Co project. So why is it 3Co? It's the title, which means concise consumer communication through robust labels for bio-based systems. And this project aims at influencing consumer behavior through smart digital solutions. And this consumer app that has been developed in the project will be presented to you as the last talk of today. Also within this project, guidelines for labeling and certification scheme holders will be developed. And to keep up to date, please also here scan the QR code on the right-hand side. With this, I would like to go on with the webinar by introducing the speakers of today. So the first one from the BioReCer project will be Romain Magnani. He's from EGM. Then the second talk will be by Luana Ladou, supported by Adnan Elgendi. They are from the bio-based CERT cluster. The third talk will be by David Nettleton from the BioRadar project, who's working at Iris Technology Solutions. And the last talk will be by Armand Carreras from ENIDE on behalf of the 3Co project. Before we actually start with the webinar, I would like to hint at the housekeeping rules. So we will have the talks in the beginning, one after the other. And after the talks, we will have a Q&A session. And for this, you can find a Q&A box in the bar at the bottom of Zoom. And please put in here your questions and not in the chat. To make it easier for us, please address the speakers with @ and the speaker name or @ and the project name. And if you would like to state a question verbally, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you, but this will also be happening at the end of the talks. And here's here's the hint that all materials and the recording will be made available on the respective project websites. And with this, I would like to hand over to my colleague Dušica, who will introduce the first speaker.
Good afternoon also from my side. As Anke mentioned, I'm Dušica Banduka and also part of the nova-Institut and also active in both projects that are hosting today, BioReCer and 3Co. And I'm looking very much forward to welcome our first speaker this afternoon, who is Romain Magnani from EGM on behalf of the BioReCer team, and he will introduce the BioReCer ICT tool. Romain is an experienced lead front-end developer and UX UI designer. He's based in Valbonne, France, and he began his career in human-robot interaction research lab at the University of Grenoble-Alpes. There he developed his technical skills. Now he combines his expertise in web front-end development with a deep understanding of human-machine interaction. Romain holds a master's degree in sociology and ergonomic of digital technologies from Polytechnique Sophia Antipolis. Please share your screen, Romain. Looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Dušica. I will present. So I think it's working.
Looks good. Yes, indeed.
Thank you. So good afternoon. I would like to start this presentation by briefly introducing the BioReCer project, and then of course the heart of the presentation with the BioReCer ICT tool. So first of all, with the current situation where the biological residues and other waste are rarely processed in an environmentally friendly way. So these byproducts are seen as burdens. And we have the current certification systems which do not sufficiently address the specific needs of biological resources. We have also challenges related to the using of waste and raw materials. So there is the seasonality of harvest, which means that, for example, the agricultural waste are not available all year long. We have the potential presence of harmful compounds, such as heavy metals and pathogens, which means they have to be processed before being used. We have the climate and weather sensitivity, leading to uncertainties, and also the low social acceptance. So the project objective for BioReCer are to increase the transparency in bio-based value chains by providing information on environmental performance, so regarding products. Track biological raw materials to optimize supply chain processes, comply with health and safety standards, assess environmental impacts, and promote biological raw materials in the market. Also, enhance social acceptance, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, and replace fossil resources with alternative biological resources. To validate our methodologies, we have 4 case studies. So one with fish cannery in Spain, urban waste in Italy, agricultural waste in Greece, residues from the forest industry in Sweden. And if you want more details, you can go on the BioReCer project website, and you will find more information about these 4 case studies. Just to mention also that we are 16 partners, industrial and academics, contributing to the project's efforts. And now let's go ahead and delve into the solution, digital solution. So the BioReCer ICT tool, also called the BIT, it's a data platform and a web application to support the project needs and help reach its goals. So it's also an infrastructure based on Stelio context broker. So it's implementing the NGSI LD standards, which is recommended at the European level. It's a mobile first application. So it means that it's working priority on the smartphones, but it also works well on any devices. And it's designed for various users with different needs and expectations. So we are aiming at certification bodies, bioproducers, and bioindustry, And obviously, everything I will show you now is still work in progress. The key features. So we have, for example, the possibility to find products nearby the user's location and to search by keywords. Here, for example, on the map, you are able to enter some keywords and you will see appearing on the map the products which holds the keywords in their name. We can visualize and explore the supply chain. Here you have an example, but I will show you deeper in the coming slides. We have the digital product tracking throughout its life cycle, the dedicated product page with detailed information. Here you have a little glimpse of information with environmental impact score, circularity indicators for products. We have blockchain integration for secure and reliable data recording, and company self-sustainability and circularity assessment with basic and advanced requirements. So I will show you all of that. So first of all, when you arrive on the application, the first time you will be asked to select a profile. For the moment, on this screenshot, we have just the biomass producer, the bioindustry or other, but soon before the end of the project, we will add the last one, which is important, the certification body. And but I will talk more about that later. So if you select the bioindustry, you will be redirected to this homepage to look for products on the map. And there is a filter, kind of filter that you will find products differently depending on their environmental impact score. So if you click on one of the products found on the map, you will focus on it, and then you will see its timeline. So you will be able to visualize and explore the value and supply chain, and to track it throughout its life cycle. For example, here I can see that the product traveled 30 kilometers, and these two products were used as input for the process of hand sanitizer manufacturing. And here I could click on this product to see its own timeline, or this one, and like this way I can explore the trees, the different branches of the trees. So here is the example, the same example as before. I've typed, for example, ethanol in the research bar, and I find two products. I want to focus on this one, so I see its timeline, where it was processed, the travels. Here it's the straight line, but we will probably implement before the end of the project algorithm to follow the roads between 2 points. So here I can see from where to where it was stored, the last known storage location, the process it went through, and what product came out of the process. So here, if I click on this button, I can see the timeline of the hand sanitizer, because this timeline was the one of this pharmaceutical grade ethanol. Here, more focus on the detailed information page of a product, where you can see the circularity indicators, if it's a residue or a main product, the amount of material, the share of originated origin product, and also you will see the carbon footprints and other little information. So this view, you can access it by clicking on this button, see product details here. The other big feature that we propose at this time is the what we call the bit advisor. So you will be redirected to the bit advisor if you select first the biomass producer profile, and then you will have to register your company. So the name, what is the company sector, the role, primary producer, manufacturer, etc. And click on the map to show its location. And then you will be able to go ahead and use the Bit Advisor, which is a self-assessment, sector-specific decision-making support for bioresources. So you will be able to select between two kinds of requirements for the self-assessment, either the basic ones or the advanced ones. And then once you selected one, you can see there is a series of questions here, 23. Amongst three pillars, we have environmental, economic, and social. And at the end of the series of the question, you have the overall score, the score by pillars, so the economic, social, and environmental. And at the end, some guidelines on how to improve the score with recommendations still by pillar, depending on the answer, yes or no, then I will have a different recommendation for each question. So here, for example, we have the company has an energy efficiency plan in place, yes, no. And if yes, then we are told that during the audit process, we will have to deliver some evidence or papers or things like that. So as I said, once the company has a score, then it will be used by the system in the search engine to highlight differently certain products on the map based on this factor, but not only this factor, it will use also the distance from the user's location, the carbon footprint used for the transport, but also for its generation and energy requirements, water requirements, chemical requirements, any information that we have will be used. And of course, the more environmentally friendly products will stand out in the search results. Just to finish this presentation, I would like to show a little demo. It's basically the same as the screenshot you saw before, but just it will be in motion. So I think it's nicer to follow. And as I said, for the moment, we don't have the certification body profile, but it's still work in progress. And we still have a few months before the end of the project, and it should be implemented before the end. So if you have any feedbacks, please, or comments on this application, I will be happy to hear them, and you can send them to me at this address. So you can go ahead and register an account. It's open to anyone. So here I already registered my profile, so I can just go ahead and type in the search bar or use a different profile. The company registration. So here you saw it's where we write the name, the company sector, the role, the location. And then I can, in the Bit Advisor, I can select to see my last results or retry to improve my score. Here in the basic requirements, we have 28 questions where I need to answer yes or no, but also possibly not applicable. Among three pillars. And this is my overall score. Economic score, social score, environmental score, and the sector average score, which is for the average for all the companies in a certain sector. To finish, the guidelines, depending on what my answers were, I have different guidelines. And I can see my last results. Here, just for example, I will show you how to follow a product life cycle. So let's see, with sugar, we have sugar beet and sugar in this place in France. I can see that the sugar beet was harvested and transported 61 kilometers to the refinery plant, where it was stored and processed to become sugar. Then the sugar was stored in the refinery plant, processed with the crystallization to become molasses. The molasses was used to create bioethanol, and the bioethanol was used to create pharmaceutical grade ethanol. And the pharmaceutical grade ethanol was used to create the hand sanitizer. And I can see that it's not the only product which was used, but also the glycerol. So this is an example. Also, you can see below the transportation, the CO2 emission of the hand sanitizer. So here we could imagine having also, at this point in time, the whole carbon emission from the start to finish. It's not yet implemented, but it's probably what will be done before the end of the project. Here, another example with the straw. And we have, for example, the circularity indicator of this byproduct, which is good, 77%, which means that more than 3 kilos of it were reused, and it's stored in the cultivation farm. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Romain. And to the audience, I already had the privilege of testing this tool, and I can only recommend to try it out because it's really, really interesting, as you have just seen. So, Romain, could you please stop sharing so that the next speaker can take over? And this will be Luana Ladou from the Technical University of Berlin, and she will be supported, as I said, by Adnan El-Gendi. I would like to introduce Luana. She's a dynamic and results-driven sustainability expert and project manager with over 15 years of experience in international project management, sustainability assessment and research, standardization, and quality infrastructure. Luana is the coordinator of the Horizon Europe project Staff for BBS, which is part of the BioReCer cluster. And this project is focused on assessing the robustness and effectiveness of certification schemes for bio-based products. She has a doctoral degree in economics from the Technical University of Berlin, a master in economics from the Universidade Federal de Bahia, and is a magister in law and business administration from the Università Luigi Bocconi. Luana, the stage is yours. I'm looking forward to your talk.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction, Anke. Good afternoon, everyone. So I will introduce today the BioReCer monitoring tool. And just to give you background information, this tool has been developed by the BioReCer cluster, as Anke said. And this cluster is composed of 3 projects. So the Sustainable for BioBase, led by the Wagner University, Staff for BBS, led by MIT in Berlin, and their monitor project, led by SQ Consult. And we are 3 projects financed by the same call, the cluster 6 called Zero Pollution. And we started working together since the beginning. So the 3 projects started in 2022 and they are ending in 2025. And we decided to collaborate together to create only 2 joint efforts, especially for creating a tool. And so the main objective of the cluster is to assess the effectiveness and robustness of certification schemes and labels applicable for bio-based products. And the cluster, first of all, what we did together, we assessed we understand which schemes and labels can be used for bio-based products. And also we conduct a different analysis of data flow of trade to see the role of certification in the importation of biomass and bio-based products. And then we are also working together on this development of the monitoring system that we present today. And we are also working on the cost and benefit analysis assessment for the use of bio-based certifications. And of course, we are also working a lot on recommendations and of our findings, since we are coordination of support actions. So just to give you a background, as you know, we have many certification schemes and labels that can be used for bio-based products, and they are recognized as enabling conditions for opening markets of bio-based products. So they're very important, and their role is recognized by academia, but also by the EU, for example, in the new communication about boosting biotechnology, biomanufacturing. But all of these schemes, they have a different level of robustness. They vary a lot. And also the effectiveness of these schemes and labels is not the same. And sometimes there is also some problem with greenwashing. And then where our bio-based cert monitoring tool comes as an important role. And this one is what we have. Like, our tool is divided in 3 main levels. And so the main objective is to assess the effectiveness and robustness of existing schemes and labels used for assessing sustainability of bio-based products. And the system level includes all the indicators that can be used to assess the governance of the scheme. So what is behind these schemes? How are the standards developed? How are they revised? How can we analyze all the governance, the stakeholder involvement, and so on? Then we have the content level, this is the middle one, and this level is looking at the assessment of sustainability areas of concern, for example, environmental, social, economic, and social. And then the outcome level is looking at the effectiveness itself, looking, for example, at the improvement of the sustainability achievement over time. And of course, we have also in this tool a way to present the result, because as was said before, the results should be presented according to the audience that is the objective of the tool. And so our tool, the audience, the most important audience are the policymakers, EU policymakers. And so the idea is to give them more transparency on the existing schemes, also looking if they are robust and effective. So are they really achieving what the purpose is? Also to understand how these schemes contribute to sustainability priorities, but also the idea is maybe to identify some key requirements that can be used, for example, in key core regulations. Like, for example, has been done with the RED. The idea is maybe to also create something with for bio-based products. And of course, also scheme owners are also our audience for this scheme, because the idea is to support them to understand where are the strengths of the tool, but also some weaknesses, and where they can learn more, what are they missing in their own schemes. And maybe the idea is also to facilitate the harmonization in terms of shared sustainability and governance criteria. Our tool, for now, we have, as you can see, we have divided in system level, content level, outcome level, and for each of them we have categories, so 12 categories. Then we have around 40 principles, then circa 150 criteria, and 300 requirements. So it's let's say a comprehensive tool. And just to show you some examples, so if we go to the system level, so looking at the governance, we have the category, for example, of standard setting, and we're looking, for example, how are the standards setting process, how is set up? For the assurance, for example, do they have auditing? How is the auditing conducted? Do they have conformity assessment bodies conducting the assessment, for example? Regarding traceability, we analyze, for example, the different traceability systems, but also is there a minimum percentage claim? And for the governance level, we look, for example, at the coordinate participation, due diligence. So we have different elements that we are analyzing. For the content level, first of all, we look at the minimum backstop, so compliant with important regulations. And then if this is met, we look at other criteria, including environmental, for example, soil management, air quality. Then we look also at the social aspect, just to give you an example, labor and human rights, circularity aspects, for example, circular resource use. And then we look also at economic aspects, for example, risk management, fair business practice. And the outcome level, as I said before, the idea is to look at the improvement of the scheme over time. And we have also here different categories, principles, and criteria. And we can see, for example, some aspects they are considered is the greenhouse gas emissions. So to look what are the what is the role of these schemes in providing support in reducing the emission, for example. And just to give you here an overview of what we have done until now, so we started working together since the beginning of the project, and the first draft of the monitoring tool, we started developing it in June 2023, and we had as a milestone February 24 to develop the tool. And then the first version was validated with 3 schemes owners, in this case, RSP, FSC, and Nordic Swan. And then we updated all the category principal indicators and requirement based on the feedback. And then we did a second assessment that we are currently finalizing now with 6 schemes and labels. And we have also continuous communication with them. So we did a kickoff meeting, we did like continuous interaction with them. We also had different events at the BCA and also an event with policymakers in Brussels to improve our tool. And regarding the assessment process, what we did, first of all, we do like a pre-assessment to identify the scope, the feedstock and the value chain actors, because depending on the categories of, for example, the feedstock, not all the indicators apply. Then this requires also a lot of reading of documents of the scheme themselves to understand also if the requirements are met. And for the outcome level, there were a lot of information also through interviews with scheme owners. And as I said before, we engage the scheme owners in different events and to provide a lot of feedback in this process, because we are also, of course, the idea is also to provide some report with the analysis of the results. And as I said before, one way what we do in this assessment tool, the first part is a pre-assessment. And this one is a short, I would say, like includes less principles and than the big package of the BMT, and this assessment is done for now for the system level and the content level. And so currently, what we have now, we have an Excel-based tool with different spreadsheets. So each representing a level. So system level, content level, outcome level. And for the system level and the content level, so for the governance part, the sustainability part, we also have an integrated visualization of the results. This means that once the person conducts the assessment based on the documents of the interview and so on, we have some visualization of the results. But now we are aiming to consolidate everything in one big Excel document, including also the result visualization. For example, for the system level, we have a spider chart, but also this kind of tables when you see the achievements of the schemes in terms of the principles. For this content level, we have also now, for now, we only focus on these tables, but they are very colorful, so you can see, really understand where the weakness are and where the strength of the schemes are. And for the outcome level, we have also for now this bar chart representation, but we are still working on also on the overall visualization of the results. So the idea is to have the 3 levels together, but for some aspects, we only have for the content level. So we are working on this part. However, our current version of the tool, since it is an Excel base, has different challenges. First of all, there is a manual data entry and calculation, so it's time consuming. And also there is like a limited user accessibility, because for some users it can be difficult to use the Excel file. And also the most important challenge that we are facing is the fact that the 3 projects are ending, and the problem is who is going to do the assessment after the end of the project, because we need, for now, an independent consultant, in this case the project, to conduct the assessment that it takes weeks to evaluate one scheme. So what we are preparing now, we are starting basically recently with this, but we aim to finalize it soon. We are creating this web-based tool. So it will be a web-based version of the Excel-based tool. So it's a user-friendly application that will be hosted by a web page of the cluster or the web page of one of the projects. And the aim is to enhance the accessibility, but also the data visualization and also dynamic reporting, because we can give the opportunity to come back to conduct the assessment. So the different options that we will offer are, of course, we will first of all provide the option to download the original BMT Excel file, as for example, GSSI is doing. So the scheme owner or somebody who will conduct an assessment, they can download the big Excel spreadsheet and conduct their own assessment. But we will also integrate the BMT in a web page for conducting the assessment, integrating also the graphic visualization of the results, but also providing them the option to download an on-time report based on the assessment that they conducted. And in addition, we also offer this pre-assessment tool. There will be like somehow a way the scheme owners can conduct before using the full tool to see if they really are complying with the tool. So it can be like a pre-assessment to avoid a lot of work for them. So they can do this one first and then the BMT as a second step. And basically what we are planning now, we are aiming to have the first version of the tool finalized by the 10th of May. And so we are working now in developing this web-based tool. And then we will validate, or we will get some more feedback. We will get some interaction during the final conference of the cluster. It will be organized in May 13 in Brussels. So we will also have an opportunity to discuss how this tool can be improved. And then, of course, we will have different interaction section with scheme owners, especially within our roundtable of the BioReCer cluster. So we are meeting the scheme owners in a regular base. And then we will also work on how to develop guidance material behind the tool to provide also information on how to use this tool when the projects are not there anymore. And we expect to have the final version of the web-based tool by the end of August. And now we would like to provide you with maybe we can show our tool. As I said, like we are starting now to develop the web-based tool. So it's still a very preliminary version of the tool, but I would like still to show it to you. So we ask my colleague, Adam, to share his screen. I will stop sharing my screen.
Yes.
Just a second. Did I stop sharing? No, not yet, sorry. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, so basically the tool we have, as we said before, the different levels. So system level, in this case, you can see the categories: standard setting, assurance, traceability, governance, and management. And then for each of them, you can see how much assessment you have conducted. Like, for example, for standard content, maybe 2 out of 6, I don't know. So because, as I said before, it's a bit, we have like a comprehensive tool with more than around 300 requirements. So it's very important to show where, how far the person conducted the assessment went. And then if we go, for example, to the standard content structure, we can see here like how many requirements are included. And then it's just, so basically we give them, in this case, there's the option to say yes. For some of them, it's just like a yes or no. So we have a 0, 1 point. For some of them, there is 0, 1, 2. And around this number, we are then developing the evaluation structure of the tool. Maybe you can, yes, just try to compile a little bit so we can see how the spider diagram will be. If we go. Okay, just so the idea is that the scheme owner, maybe as a self-assessment tool, can conduct the assessment, and then at the end we have the spider chart where you can see, okay, whether I'm doing a good job or not. So it's like we are incentivizing them to really assess their own skills based, of course, on our structure, and maybe also we provide them with some recommendation on future development. They can also, of course, refer to the indicators that we develop to compensate where there are some weakness in their own schemes. So this one is not only for the system level, we are still developing the content level, but then we will go with the content level, outcome level, and the idea is to provide also this visualization of the result as a whole, but we are not so far yet on this. So thank you. This was just like a short view of the, and so sorry, if you could come back. So as I said before, the idea is that they download the result as a PDF or as an Excel file. And then of course, we will provide the scheme owners with an access where they can also internally identify people to answer different parts of the questionnaire, because as we said, it's very comprehensive. And we will also ask them if they want to provide us with the data of the assessment that we can use for making maybe reports around different schemes, or if they want to keep it anonymous. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luana. So if you have additional questions regarding the applications or different tools developed, please don't be shy and state them in the Q&A section. I'm looking forward to welcome our next speaker, who is David Nettleton. He's from the Iris Technology Solutions enterprise and presenting on behalf of the BioReCer project. Dr. David Nettleton has been with Iris Technology Solutions since 2015, where he leads the development of solutions based on AI, digital twins, and decision support systems, among others. He has a PhD in artificial intelligence and over 30 years of industrial and academic experience in national and international funded projects. He has also published over 80 peer-reviewed articles, 3 books, and secured 4 patents. Thank you for joining us today, David.
Thank you. I'll share my screen now. Okay, can you see my
Looks perfect, thank you.
screen? Okay, fine. So I'm going to present today briefly some of the digital platform tools we're developing in the BioReCer project, which is an ongoing project. We're more or less 50% of the way through the project, but we already have some interesting results. So first, briefly, Iris Technology Solutions, we're based near Barcelona in Spain, and we were founded in 2007. We have around 69 employees, turnover 4.9 million in 2023, and we work especially in industrial development, monitoring, real-time process control in a number of European projects as well, with a multidisciplinary team of IT, photonics, data analytics, telecos specialists. So the SMAC, which is covers IT area, social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. It's a big department in Iris, and we specialize in Industry 4.0, digital tools, AI, decision support systems, digital twins, and smart sensors are some specific areas. And recent related projects to BioReCer are Preserve, Circular Food Pack, and Merlin, where we've been working a lot on digitalizing the typical LCA, LCC analysis results of the use cases and making those visible and accessible to the stakeholders. So BioReCer is a project whose focus is on 3 main use case areas: fertilizer, textile, and packaging, which of course have big impacts on the environment. And so bio solutions are being developed, and the whole of the value chain is considered in order to compare, of course, with the baselines and the solutions which are proposed in the different sectors. So in the current work, we'll just be showing the LCA data processing, but in the project we will also have LCC and LCA. So if we look here at the structure of the digital tools, so here we're actually addressing some issues which occur typically with sustainability projects. One is the limited data of use cases, and so here from the start we developed a synthetic data generator tool, which takes the available data as seed and generates a lot of synthetic data, but accurately, statistically close to the original data. So that allows input to a benchmarking tool. So the cases can be benchmarked between each other, always, of course, in the same sector, fertilizer, textile, or packaging. And then we've got some advanced data analytics on that data, and also the self-assessment tool, so the stakeholders can enter their data and compare it with the data which is in the system. So as I mentioned here, one of the novelties we would say of this tool is the ability to generate a lot of simulated data using some real data as a seed. And so this, of course, when you're doing machine learning and building data models, you need a lot more data than typically we have just from a few tens of use cases or whatever. So here we can generate thousands of records, and then we can verify the cross correlations, standard deviations, mean values, the statistics. And under the bonnet, it's using a sophisticated Monte Carlo simulation to produce the simulated data. So it's one of the best theoretical bases around for synthetic data generation. So here, one of the first aspects of developing the tools is to provide a data repository for the project, where we store the results from the different use cases, as I mentioned, in fertilizer, textile, and packaging. And then here we have, for example, aquí on the top left, we see the three sectors: fertilizer, packaging, and textile. And then we have the four subcases of fertilizer. At the moment, we have compost, feather meal, wood vinegar, and Algae. And then we can see here the button, Build Synthetic Generator, and you can choose which of the cases or all of the cases within fertilizer to generate a lot of synthetic data from that. So here we see in more detail, this is actually LCA data generated by EF 3.0, environmental footprint. We originally started with recipe, of course, using CIMAPRO, and we switched to environmental footprint, and we're using that for all of the use cases. And one issue was to have a homogeneous calculation, which we use in the system, and so everything is environmental footprint. And so here we see the 16 impact categories. From the left, acidification, climate change, CO2, ecotoxicity, right through to water use. And then here we have the values for the different cases. And this data, we apply two factors to it. We'll see later, do a benchmarking, which are weightings and also normalization. So we'll see that in a moment. Yeah, here we can see we just download the user. It generates the synthetic data, and it just downloads conveniently into their local computer in an Excel file. So they can keep using that within the digital tool itself. We'll see in a moment, or they can analyze that themselves in the Excel file offline with whatever system they wish. Okay, so here we see the results of the simulation. As I mentioned, this data has the cross correlations which can be validated, which are as close as possible, and we find that there is a very good fit to the original data used as a seed. And also here we see the typical Gaussian distributions of each of the impact factors. So here we could have like 1,000 records of data, or 10,000 or 5,000, the user specifies. And here we see, here we're coming to a little bit towards what we're doing for the benchmarking. And so here we have the total score. So of course, from the 16 impact factors of the LCA, we calculate a total score, which is an aggregate, taking into account the weighting and the normalization. And here we see the distribution of the total score on the synthetic data. And so we see there is an average value in the middle. It's a sort of Gaussian distribution, but it's real. It's not, of course, completely smooth, because that would be artificial. So it's trying to introduce real variation factors into the data. And so here for benchmarking, we've got a max and a min. And then we've got the two quartiles, Q1 and Q3. And we're going to use these as placeholders. So when the user wants to compare their use case, then they'll know where it stands with respect to the max, the min, and the average, and so on for this data. Okay, so that is the data repository and the simulation part. And here we go on to what is the benchmarking. And so the user can enter their own use case and compare it with the use cases, the synthetic data or the real use cases in the system. And so here you can select a reference case and, for example, feather meal fertilizer, case 1, and compare it with other cases, for example, other feather meal cases or your own use case. Or you can benchmark against the statistically significant cases from the simulated data, so the user can choose. Here we see an example of wood vinegar case 1, which has been chosen. And then these different color schemes actually will be, I think later on we'll be using more a traffic light color system. So red would be like the worst score and green would be the best score and so on. But at the moment we have these colors. And so it shows the closest match, which is light green, the second closest, which is like the light brown, and the third closest, which is the dark pink. So it's easy for the user to find where this case lies with respect to the other cases, and then later they will be able to enter their own data and compare it in a similar way. So for this benchmark, we see that here we've selected the total score, and so below we see the total score for each of the cases. And so we can see that case 2 has a lower total score than, for example, case 3, which is the highest. And so we can see how the cases compare on total score. And then if we go to the next slide, we can click on a specific impact factor like climate change CO2. And we can see here that case 4 has the highest score on CO2, and case 5 has the lowest, actually negative on CO2. And so it's easy to see you can go impact factor by impact factor as well. Okay, so that is the benchmarking. And now here we go to another cool part of the digital tool, which is in development. And so this goes a little bit beyond just visualization, and we do a clustering and decision tree on the data. And so the clustering is what is called a non-supervised. So it doesn't need labeling of the data. So it's sort of agnostic to if the scores are good or bad or whatever. It does a clustering based on statistical affinity, like a k-means type clustering. And then here the next cool part is that we use the clustering IDs to do a supervised machine learning to build a decision tree. And so those of you who analyze data know that one of the difficulties is labeling the data. And so here the problem is solved by using the cluster ID as the label, and we can build a decision tree which also explains the clustering, why the cases, which cases are in different clusters, and why in terms of the data. And so here we see an example of the synthetic data generated from the fertilizer use cases. So this has been clustered into 3 clusters, which are shown by the colors on the left. And then we use that to train the decision tree. And that gives us the decision tree on the right. And so we see, for example, the nodes below are what are called the leaf nodes. And so if you start at the top, for example, land use less than or equal to 6.1, if that's true, you go down to the left, land use less than or equal to 5.9, and then you go down to the left again, ionizing radiation, human health less than or equal to minus 0.254. And so finally you reach one of the leaf nodes, which classifies in terms of the cluster ID. So the cluster ID here, we have 3 clusters. It would be 0, 1, or 2. So here we've actually built a classifier model. So if you had a new record, like the user enters their new case, you could classify it with respect to and say in which cluster it lies, and also explain the explainability of the clusters themselves. Okay, so the platform, there's no demo at the moment. This is work in progress. The platform will be accessible to general users at the end of 2025. Here is what will be the internet address. And so thank you very much. I look forward to any questions later.
So thank you very, very much, David. So I'm looking forward to the final tool. Yes, and so we saw those were all tools targeting the bioeconomy or certification schemes. And now I would like to hand over to Armand Carreras, who will talk about a consumer app, which is already publicly available. I would like to introduce Armand. He is a full stack developer at Enide Solutions in Spain, and this since already 2021. He has a strong background in IT engineering from UPC University. He's skilled in Ionic, Angular, and Spring Boot, complemented by bootcamp training in multi-platform application development and microservices. Also, Armand is passionate about building scalable and efficient software solutions. So looking forward to your talk. Please share your screen.
Okay, thank you. So let me share the screen. Hope you can see it now. Okay. So yeah, thank you for the introduction. And as I said, as you said, my name is Armand Carreras, and I'm going to present the Trico application for you. Yeah, well, the Trico app is an EU-funded project designed to support the conscious processing decisions. And for doing so, the app uses a smart scanning feature to analyze levels and their certifications and provides real-time insights for the certifications and bio-based products and empowers the users to make sustainable choices about them. For doing that application, the technologies that are being used in the front end were Ionic and Angular. And the languages were HTML, CSS, and TypeScript, all packed together with Capacitor, which is a bridge to our mobile phones to use their capabilities. And then for the backend and the AI image detection, Python was used. Flask was used for the API connection between the application and the backend, and PyTorch and YOLO was used for the AI. All together was containerized using Docker, and is now available the front end as a web page and also as an application. As I said, we have a web page and application. Our web page is just like a way for the user to not download the app, but understand what the app can do. Our web page tries to enhance the user to download the application by letting them know what can it be found in the application, but not all functionalities are available on the website. Okay. So before we run our application for you, just a brief overview of the application. We divided it in 3 sections. We have the label certification section, the product form, and the learn section. And you can see it there for our preview here. Let me change the screen. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Should it change now?
It does.
Okay. And let me connect to the phone. Okay. So here you have our application in actually able to download in Apple Store and Play Store. What we can do with it? Okay, we are now in the level detection page. Let's say we can scan our products. If we have a product at home, we can scan it. I will use an image here. We can upload the image to the server, and then we will have some feedback from it. As you can see, the backend detected 2 different levels here or certifications, and we can check each of them for information about it. Also, you can do your picture of the product directly. It doesn't need to be on your gallery. Also, then you have here a feature level. Each time you enter the application, this level will change, giving you extra information every time you use the application. So if you need more information about it, you can click it and you will have the origin, colors, and so on. Also, you have here an offline database of them, which is this one. We have here a lot of labels classified by categories. Let's say electronics, cosmetics, buildings, so on. We can filter them by shapes, colors, and categories. For example, if you want a circular shape, we can apply it, and we will have circular shapes here, just circular shapes. And then if you want just greens and circulars, we can apply, and then we have all green circular shapes. We can clear them, and we will have all again. And if we want to search by name, you can also search by name, as you can see it. Then we can move forward to the engage part. In the engage part, that's what we called the product forum engage part. Oh, I think it's just gone. Let me check. I don't know what happened. It's gone. Just wait a second, please.
So maybe try.
No, yeah, it's fine. Can you see it now?
Yes, looks good.
Okay. Okay. So what I was saying, we call that engage, but it's just like a product forum for the users to engage with each other and enhance product sustainability by adding sustainable products to here, and then they can review their products with, yeah, I like that one, or no, I don't like that one. You can only post new products if you are a logged user. If you're not a logged user, the application will show a prompt saying that you have to register for it. And also you have here the same kind of filters that we were using previously on the label certification. You can filter by categories, just categories in that one. And we can search the products by name also. Like this, okay. And finally, but not last, we have the learn section, which lets the user understand more about the eco environment and some other technologies that are going on here on the eco environment. And let me switch to the other screen. Yep, that one. Okay, so that's all for Trico app. You can join the movement, try the app, and provide feedback. Please spread the word. And for future acts, we are trying to expand our features and increasing our AI accuracy. And you have here our QR codes for downloading the app or visit the website. That the website was not explained here, so you can visit the website with this QR code also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Armand. So please.
Yeah, I will stop.
And there was a question in the chat whether everybody who has already a working app or a tool could share the information on how to reach it in the chat. And also to Luana and David, who are still working on the tools, I would like to invite you to share the link to the website where you explain a bit more about your digital innovation. I saw that there were already some questions in the chat. And I would like to start with the first one, going to Romain. It was asked by Simon Schwarzwald from a certification body, RedCert. And his question was, companies often have an interest in not disclosing their own suppliers. As a certification system, we have a lot of experience in passing on the relevant sustainability properties and value chain, and thus balancing business secrets and transparency. The ICT tool seems to me to have a very strong focus on public traceability. Could you expand on this?
Yeah, sorry, I already answered by writing, so I will just repeat what I just wrote. Yes, indeed.
For the recording.
The interface probably doesn't reflect enough this aspect, but we're trying to take it into account in our design. So that said, the platform already implements the confidentiality, data confidentiality by design, which means that any data that is incorporated manually or automatically in the system is hidden by default to other users. So to disclose information, you need to do a voluntary action. It will not be done by us or by other people. It's not possible. So you are always in control of your information. You can make it public or not. It's you are the only one deciding. And you can also decide to just put a few pieces of information public and not the rest. This is also something which is possible through the data platform.
Thank you. So now that I saw that Simon Schwarzwald asked another question, in this case to Armand, I would like to ask this one. This looks like a really powerful tool. Do labels have to register with you, or do you gather relevant information yourself?
Okay, so as I already told in the presentation, this is running an offline database. So all the labels that are on the application were gathered beforehand, and they are now on the application. If we would like to introduce new labels, this offline database should be updated with the new information, and then a new version of the application will be posted in the respective stores.
Okay, so thank you for this. I would like to go on with asking another question to you. What kind of information about the labels do we actually get in the app? Can you also explain the rating shown and what it is based on?
Okay, so firstly, the information shown in the labels are the logo, the name, origin description, colors on the label, and the keywords. Also, the rating, as you said, the rating is gathered on a third-party institution, let's say. There was not much information about all the labels, so not all the labels are rated. If they are rated from 0 to 3 stars in, let me check, in credibility, environment, and socioeconomics. And if they are not rated, it appears as NA, let's say, no, not rated. I think I already responded.
Okay, thank you. So I have myself a question to David. I was wondering what database you were using for the LCA. Are there several? Is there a standard one that you're using?
Well, we're using in the back end of the IT tool, we have an SQL, a standard SQL database where we're storing the information. As I mentioned, the partners who are doing the LCA analysis send us the files, of course, typically in Excel. So they're using SEMA Pro to generate using the EF 3.0. They send us the Excels, and then we, if necessary, we do some reformatting. But we've got the 16 impact factors of the EF LCA. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so I guess your tool doesn't directly get information on LCA from other databases that are relevant for LCA, but you feed this tool with information you gather from the other project partners.
Yeah, well, initially it's going to be loaded with information from the BioReCer project. So the 3 sectors: fertilizer, textile, and packaging. But it is an open tool. So as time goes on, we hope objective would be there is a community of users who will start to upload their use cases. As mentioned before, here we have the privacy, so the user can define their data as private or public as they wish. And so over time, we suppose that the database will grow with more and more use cases.
Okay, so looking forward to the growing of your tool then. Okay, so let's go back to a question to Romain about the BioReCer ICT tool. The person asking was, the question was, where's the CO2 data coming from? Since there's also upstream information of the products, like intermediate products, transport, so this led to the question.
Yeah, so the CO2, which you saw in the demo, was a calculation based on the distance traveled by the product of interest, so the one we were focused on, and an average fuel consumption of the transportation truck. So it does not take into account all the transportation which occurred previously by the intermediate products. But as I said, it's something that we will implement soon enough, because it's quite easy to do it thanks to our data model.
Thank you. So I have a question to Luana. As far as I remember, BioReCer, BioReCer is David. I'm sorry about this. So it's a question to David. As far as I remember, several tools will be developed in BioReCer. Can you tell us a bit about the others?
Yeah, well, what I've shown today is limited. We didn't include the regulatory tracker, which is also will be integrated in the final digital platform of BioReCer. And so the regulatory tracker, that will be an online search engine, which will look for regulations in the official websites and other websites, like doing a sort of web crawl. And so that will be more dynamic, yeah. But that is still in early stage.
And do you have an estimation when this will be ready?
Following the project, where we're just over 50% of the way through the project, and I think this year, by the end of this year, we should have, beginning of 2026, we should have these tools which are online and the users can register and start to use them.
Thank you. So Luana, I have a general question to you about the bio-based third cluster. So how come that the 3 projects decided to work together and also develop a tool together? Was that focus from the start, or was it?
Yes, basically
Okay.
from the start, because basically we were all going to do the same tool. Like we are after the same table references from the EU. So we said, okay, it's better to join efforts and to be more comprehensive, analyzing different aspects. So we knew each other already. I knew the coordinator of our monitor, Sergio, and then I knew also the coordinator of the other project of Sustainable Bio-based Iris. So we just said, okay, since we know each other, also other partners, we knew each other, we said, doesn't make sense to have 3 competitive tools, like competing tools. So we said, okay, it makes sense to join efforts and to create like a bigger tool. So we share responsibilities, each project coordinating one level. And since the beginning, we decided to work together, not only on this tool, also on other aspects, but the tool is the most, I would say, coordinated effort between the cluster. Will be like the result of the cluster is mostly the tool. But we have also other elements that work together. and we will present all of the things during our final conference of the cluster. So we do also a lot of stakeholder engagement together, because we are engaging the same audience, so we didn't want to be to bother them too much. So we have the same advisory board, the same in the round table of the BioReCer cluster. We're working together on this, so we join efforts to be stronger together and not.
Yes, exactly. So that's very important. And I mean, all of our projects share stakeholders. So it's good to have a joint event to see what the other projects are doing and working together. So is there already a date for your final conference?
Yes, the 13th of May. And I invited all of the projects, like all of these projects are invited as well to join. I send an email to the coordinators, but I know, for example, the BioReCer will be there because Nova is also part of our project, WBS. But we're also looking for potential panelists for the different sessions. They can bring insight from other projects. So I will come back to the speaker of today with some question if they want to join the event, because we're going to also have different projects in the conference, not only presenting our results, but we're going to present our results and also the way forward. And I have a question now to the other tools, because the BioReCer project is also ending, correct? You're ending in August, as staff will be. So what about the tool? Who's going to take over the tool? Do you know already who is going to keep the tool alive?
It's a good question, actually, but what happens to the tool by the end of the project is still under discussion. So I don't have more information as of now, but it's an open topic within the consortium, and probably we'll have more information soon on that specific thing.
Yeah, so there's a connected question here in the chat. Someone asked, will someone manage and take the ownership of the tool once your project ends?
If I can answer, for our side, we are doing two things. First of all, we are trying to explore ways to keep the tool alive. One way is to do a self-assessment tool. So basically, we are analyzing the schemes, instead of doing the assessment with a third part, like as an expert, like a consultant, we're going to have the scheme themselves doing their own assessment. Of course, there is some disadvantages, but this could be one way to keep the tool alive. We're going to have it in the webpage, and a self-assessment tool can be used. And the other way is what we are aiming is to create a standardization product, like a pre-normative document. It's like a same workshop agreement will be. We don't know if it's going to be a same workshop agreement or a DIN spec or a prazo di riferimento. I don't know what exactly, but we are aiming to create this pre-normative document where we keep a working group of experts of the project, or also not of the project, to keep working on the requirements of the tool. So to incentivize their participation, they're going to be involved in these working groups of the standards. It's like one of the things that we're going to launch this in June at a conference in Madrid, the EURAS conference. We made standardization experts. We're going to launch this idea of collecting experts for the working group, and then we are going to create this one. Is another way. Plus, of course, publications, but still like based on the requirements, but not keeping the tool alive. But we're also discussing with the EU possible ways of maybe find a way to keep it alive. Of course, other projects they can take it over, or I don't know. We are hoping to find the right way. Thank you.
Thanks. So the questions are nearly all answered. There was only one suggestion by my colleague Dušica in the chat. She asks all of you to sum up. Each of you to sum up why people should use your digital tool, and please do so in one sentence. And maybe we will start with Romain.
Well, I wasn't prepared for that. One sentence. I think the two key features of the BioReCer ICT tool are the lifecycle exploration and company self-assessments for certifications. So yeah, that's the two key features that we want to highlight today.
Yeah, and definitely that's something that people should consider using and preferably using your app then. So I would like to ask the next one, Luana, what do you say about why people should use your app, your tool?
I would say the main reason would be to use our tool to reduce the greenwashing risks. So to reduce greenwashing and make sure that the schemes are robust and effective and fit for the purpose to drive real sustainability in the bio-based economy.
Great. Yeah. David, what can you say about this?
Well, I think in BioRadar, we've really accumulated our experience in other projects, similar ones like Preserve and Circular Food Pack. And we think in BioRadar, we've got it right. So we've got some cool stuff under the bonnet of advanced analytics, data analytics on the one hand, the synthetic data generator, which we think is not something generally available in other types of tools. So we think that BioRadar is showcasing really the result of several other projects we've worked on. And we think it's got some differential functionality. And we hope, of course, the issue always is what happens to the tool when the project finishes, the universal question with European projects. And so we need a community to start using the tool and build and follow on with that use, stakeholders and so on.
Great. There's a good point here, because I would like to hint at the shared LinkedIn group that we have for all of the projects presented today, because there the newest developments are presented, and of course the different projects will also share the availability of their tools there. So I put the link to this group in the chat, and please simply become a member and get informed in time. So I would like to now end with Armand giving his suggestion on the app. Why is it necessary or mandatory to use your app from now on?
Okay, so I guess that the best way to sum up this would be that let yourself better understand the product you are buying. In one sentence, let's say.
Yeah, and choose the right one, the most sustainable one, I'd say. Okay, thank you to all of you. There's again the question if it is possible to put a link to the demo versions or the final consumer app in the chat. And with this, I would like to end the webinar. I would like to say thank you to our fine speakers of today. It was really a pleasure getting more information of the upcoming or already ready tools. And let's go on developing and hopefully see the tools living and going on also after the projects have ended.
Maybe just a quick information, the recording to today's webinar and all slides will be made available on both project websites. So stay tuned, we'll inform you soon.